Ride the signal through the unknown. This is the cryptic current.
On March 16, 2025, at a press conference, four archaeologists, Filippo, a remote sensing technology expert, Abando, an icon hop archaeology research expert, Corrado, a cosmology theory and SAR technology expert, Nico, information spokesperson, presented their important discovery before hundreds of audience members. It turns out they used a completely new ground-penetrating satellite radar technology, discovering 8 vertical pillars beneath the Carframe Pyramid at a depth of 648 meters. Equivalent to the Tokyo Skytree Tower, which was once the world's tallest tower, as high as 240 floors. However, this wasn't the most shocking information. The most shocking thing was that beneath these 8 spiral vertical pillars, the radar also detected 2 giant rectangular spaces. Each side was 80 meters wide, 75 meters high, looking like 2 giant water reservoirs. But who would bury water reservoirs 700 meters deep underground? The entire hall buzzed with discussion. There was more, the research team continued to reveal. The radar also detected beneath the Giza Plateau various types of chamber structures whose meanings were unclear, like an entire underground city. When delving deeper and making more connections, these discoveries seemed to match SKC's prophecy about a lost civilization and a giant wireless power transmission characteristic of Tesla. So is this real or fake? Today, we'll discuss together the 4 latest discoveries about the pyramid. Hello everyone, I'm Miss Ruby. At the announcement, technology expert Filippo said, SAR, synthetic aperture radar technology, is a proficient ground-penetrating radar usually installed on satellites and aircraft. However, its penetration capability is still limited. To overcome this, from seismic background waves in the exploration area, we collected micro-motion data inside the pyramid, combined the micro-motion data with previous ground exploration data, then through specially developed data processing software, could perform high-depth exploration inside the pyramid and underground. This new technology made the pyramid transparent, leading to this discovery. Here, adding some technical details. According to the press conference introduction, the research team's SAR ground-penetrating radar data came from 2 satellites 643 kilometers from Earth. Normally, this type of ground-penetrating data only shows data below 30 meters in the Hokan Desert. Moreover, due to influence from the pyramid's massive stone structure, it couldn't clearly display the hidden structures inside and beneath the pyramid. But as the research team's technical experts said, they used micro-motion data inside the pyramid from seismic background waves to assist processing. This is essentially also a proficient exploration technology. The seismic background waves here mainly come from natural earthquakes and human activities on the Giza Plateau. For example, humans intentionally use seismic wave generators for ground construction work, vehicle operation. These activities all generate seismic background waves. In theory, these seismic waves can provide micro-motion data inside the pyramid. However, is combining it with SAR data for analysis truly effective? So far, only this team has creatively developed this method. Additionally, from 3 years ago, in a 2022 thesis, this research team detailed the algorithm for this method. The article also uses many known conclusions to verify the reliability of the scan data they provided. For example, we already know that a pyramid doesn't just have 4 sides but actually has 8 sides. The perspective of these 8 sides also appears in the scan data. In fact, when comparing the known internal structure of the Khufu pyramid with the scan structure, they match quite well. Especially the display of the 5-layer structure inside the king's tomb, the data is quite accurate. Next, in the 4-hour press conference, about 1 hour was spent with technical expert Filippo explaining in detail about their radar technology. It can be seen that they are very confident in their technology. Additionally, it should be added how the research team processed from complex data images to create such sharp 3D images. Actually, the research team clearly stated that it's based on speculation, and they also admitted that their speculation is not necessarily accurate. Currently, besides the press conference, 10 pages of summary report have been published. The detailed research paper is temporarily still in the peer review stage. meaning is being observed and evaluated by the research team said that after the peer review process ends, people can rely on specific data. In the published article, the researchers speculate about the 3D structure themselves. The above is the specific situation of the research team at the current time. Next, we will discuss the end of the 4 discoveries announced in this press conference. There are a total of 3 pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Usually we are most familiar with the Khufu Pyramid in the north. Because there's the largest tomb chamber inside, scientists conclude that the pyramid is indeed a tomb. Next, the Khafre Pyramid is actually the most magnificent one in the middle. That's only 136 meters tall. The Sphinx is very famous and is also an accompanying structure. Its most prominent feature is that it has a cat on top. This is the outer layer of the ancient pyramid that hasn't completely peeled off to this day. Originally after completion, the outside of the pyramid was covered with a layer of white limestone. In theory, when building the Khafre Pyramid, ancient Egyptians had more mature technology than during Khufu's time. National potential was also stronger. However, when analyzing and comparing the internal structure of the Khafre Pyramid with that of the Khufu Pyramid, it's really too simple. There's only one tomb chamber and a small corridor, not as complex as the Khufu Pyramid. Why is this? Archaeologists cannot explain it. But in this press conference, the research team presented new findings that made everyone even more astonished. It turns out their data shows that inside the Khafre Pyramid, there are 5 structures similar to the king's tomb chamber as in the Khufu Pyramid. Moreover, between these structures there are huge corridors connecting them. If this is true, then this proves that since the 1800s when Napoleon invaded Egypt, and Westerners discovered the pyramid until now, over 200 years, it hasn't truly been explored. Or it has been discovered, but was intentionally concealed. The data shows that 8 vertical blocks have spiral patterns lining around them. Although looking at the 3D model, the spiral appears to be on the outside, but actually it must be inside, standing separately, as stairs or ramps are for other purposes. In the press conference, Egyptian scholar Amando pointed out that the characteristics of these spiral columns don't resemble anything known in traditional Egyptian archaeology. Instead, they once appeared in the Pachic Church in Italy. This is a type of local hydraulic engineering built during the medieval period, but the name originates from an action in Italy, related to Saint Pachic of Purgatory. Legend has it that on that day, it would lead to hell. Moreover, the Adalai step well in Gujarat, India, built in the 15th century, also has a similar structure. But according to Amando May, for all of Egypt, this type of structure is unique to this day. At the same time, if these are truly separate vertical shafts, then it involves an inexplicable construction engineering problem. How did the Egyptians keep these water shafts from collapsing? Just like when we build water shafts, the inner walls of the shafts all need to be reinforced with stone. Otherwise, the deeper the water shaft, the greater the wall weight and the more prone to collapse. However, these 8 vertical shafts have a depth of 648 meters. How did the Egyptians dig and reinforce them? The research team finds it hard to imagine. Therefore, many netizens believe, could these not be vertical shafts but some kind of Roman columns? And the pyramid is simply the above-ground peak of a massive monument. At the end of the 8 vertical blocks 700 meters deep underground, there are 2 additional giant rectangular spaces, besides 80 meters long and such. What is this? No one can answer. Theoretically, such deep rectangular spaces, even modern engineering would struggle to construct. How to excavate and transport? How to reinforce the walls? Could they have transported vertically up and down through those 8 vertical blocks like elevators? For example, when excavating many royal tombs in China, we discovered, even at depths of only 30 to 40 meters, 4 tomb entrances in large areas were needed for soil and rock transport. Let alone creating 2 giant rectangles at 700 meters depth like this. Thousands of years have passed, they would certainly have collapsed. If not collapsed, they might well have become water reservoirs now. Because the upstream Nile has long had the Aswan Dam, and the water level beneath the pyramid is very high. In the video filming Dr. Jahi Hawat, the Minister of Antiquities leading the film crew to the Osiris Forum, it can be seen that in 1996, the filming location was only 30 meters below ground. And there was already a place called the Osiris Cap submerged by groundwater. Let alone now, as we mentioned, according to Minister of Antiquities Jahi Hawat, everything is gone. The groundwater level has risen 7 to 8 meters, everything is submerged. Thus, one can see what a concept 700 meters underground depth represents. Perhaps everything has long been submerged in water, but why hasn't it collapsed? These rectangular spaces, at about 600 meters depth, in geological survey data images, appear with many intersecting horizontal and vertical structures. Additionally, these structures exist not only beneath the half or pyramid base but are distributed throughout the Giza Plateau, meaning the entire area beneath the three pyramids. This vast area called the Giza Plateau, what could these things be? At the press conference, Amando Bay, the Egyptian scholar and a research team, said whether it relates to the underworld, as mentioned in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The book reveals Egyptian views on life and death quite similar to ours. They believed deep underground there's a netherworld called Duat. The dead would undergo judgment underground, judged by the jackal-headed god Anubis, and to weigh the deceased. To assess whether they could enter the underworld and proceed to the afterlife. Therefore, some netizens speculate, could these two giant rectangular halls be that heart-weighing place? Going out another 600 meters, at about 1.2 kilometers underground depth, could there truly be an underground city leading to the Could the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead be describing reality? Did they really build an entire underground reincarnation technology system back then? The four major discoveries above were all the content revealed by the research team at the press conference. They overturned humanity. And these discoveries also strangely coincide with ancient prophecies. S.K. Casey is known as the Sleeping Prophet. He was one of the most famous psychics of the 20th century, meaning his clairvoyant abilities were awakened. He could see the past and future while in a hypnotic state. He revealed many mysteries about human origins and ancient civilizations. On July 1, 1932, during a clairvoyant session, Casey mentioned, beneath the Sphinx and the pyramids on the Giza Plateau lies a hidden treasure of records. It contains 32 stone tablets from the Atlantis civilization, recording the truth about human spiritual origins. Casey said this treasure lies in a tunnel under the right front paw of the Sphinx, leading to a secret chamber beneath the pyramid. He also said only when human consciousness reaches a certain level of awakening will this treasure be discovered, revealing the profound relationship between us and the universe. At first glance, this prophecy of Casey was considered fairy tales at the time. But with scientific progress, many of his prophecies have been confirmed. And this discovery under the Kharfre pyramid amazingly matches Edgar Casey's prophecy. Even more astonishing, the complexity of these structures far exceeds the technical level of ancient Egypt. Researchers believe this geometric design resembles a 3D version of modern computer architecture more, rather than a product from 2500 BC. This inevitably makes people think of Casey's prophecy. So is this actually part of the recorded treasure he mentioned? Casey once said the recorded treasure lies in a tunnel under the right front paw of the Sphinx, leading to the secret space beneath the pyramid. Although this discovery was under the Kharfre pyramid, research indicates the scope of the underground architectural complex may extend to the area around the Sphinx. Another piece of evidence is that in the 1990s, under the left front paw of the Sphinx, geologist Robert Scott discovered an empty space. This means the area beneath the Sphinx is indeed hollow, coincidentally matching Casey's description. Additionally, Edgar Casey prophesied that the discovery of this treasure would occur when human consciousness awakens. So today, in 2025, we're at the beginning of the Aquarian Age. Many spiritual traditions believe this is an important moment for elevating collective human consciousness. And on April 17th in the southern hemisphere, a quadruple planetary alignment occurred, meaning 4 stars converged. This phenomenon is also a strong signal of spiritual awakening. The timing of this discovery highly coincides with Casey's prophecy. More importantly, Casey mentioned that the recorded treasure contains technologies of the Atlantis civilization. So are these complex underground structure designs high-tech relics of Atlantis? And Atlantis is precisely the prehistoric civilization from legend. If we elevate our perspective from ancient Egyptian civilization to interstellar civilization, what would the picture look like? In previous content, we shared about the mysterious relationship between the Giza pyramids and celestial bodies. On February 16, 1932, during a psychic session, Edgar Cayce mentioned that Atlanteans came from the Sirius star system. But their interstellar navigation abilities might be related to the Orion constellation. The three-star belt of Orion in Atlantean culture might be an important constellation. In the 1980s, Robert Bauval proposed the Orion correlation theory. He pointed out that the arrangement of the three great Giza pyramids with Orion's three-star belt. Stars Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka are almost identical. Even stranger, if we extend the astronomical map toward the south and north, and look down upon other ancient Egyptian structures on the Giza Plateau, we would discover the entire Nin River Valley resembles a giant star map. Both the Nin River and the pyramids correspond to the star map of the Milky Way. Scientists also discovered that in the Giza pyramid, the position corresponding to the main chamber is the Orion constellation. The small chamber corresponds to the stars. The goddess Isis is one of the most important deities in Egyptian mythology. She possesses powerful magic and superior wisdom, holds a noble status, and is an indispensable figure. In ancient Egyptian culture, the Orion constellation symbolized the death god Osiris, representing death and rebirth. The astronomical design of the pyramid may symbolize the pharaoh's soul flying to the Orion constellation after death, completing their spiritual journey. Archaeologist Wayne Herschel discovered an even larger star map. He found that the angle at which the Egyptian Sphinx intersects the three pyramids on the horizon is exactly the same as the angle of the brightest star in the Leo constellation, aligning with the three stars in Orion's belt. At a special moment at night, the Sphinx happens to gaze at its own reflection, which is the Leo constellation in the sky. Edgar Cayce also mentioned that Atlantis was destroyed around 10,500 BC. After its destruction, the lucky survivors brought their knowledge and technology to Egypt and China. Therefore, the astronomical designs of the pyramid and the mausoleum of Chin-Shi are very likely the knowledge heritage from the predecessors of Atlantis. In other words, India and China were the four major ancient civilizations mentioned in historical records, including ancient Babylon, ancient Egypt, ancient India, and ancient China. They all originate from the same source, which is Atlantis. Edgar Cayce once said that, viewed from the air, the pyramid is octagonal rather than square. The materials used to build it, such as quartz and granite, can interact with Earth's electromagnetic field and cosmic energy field through resonance. First, the geometric design of the pyramid is extremely simple. The ratio of the height to the base side of the Khufu pyramid is nearly equal to pi. When viewed from above, it actually appears octagonal rather than square. This geometric shape in sacred geometry is considered a type of energy amplifier. The pointed top of the pyramid may be able to focus energy through resonance, while the wide base of the bottom can stabilize the energy flow. The materials used in the pyramid also possess energy characteristics. The limestone on the outer layer is an insulating material, while the interior uses granite, which contains quartz. Quartz has a piezoelectric effect, meaning that when subjected to pressure or vibration, it generates a small electric charge. Dolomite, a sedimentary rock at the base of the pyramid, can enhance electrical conductivity. Such a combination of materials may have turned the pyramid into a giant energy conversion machine. What is even more astonishing is that the pyramid may have utilized Earth's natural energy to operate. Research shows that beneath the original area, there was once an underground water flow, which was the ancient riverbed of the Nile. When the water flow contacts the dolomite at the base of the pyramid, through electrical conduction, it can generate a weak electric current. Simultaneously, Earth's seismic waves may generate a piezoelectric effect through the quartz in the granite, continuing to produce electromagnetic energy. After this energy is amplified by the pyramid's shape and transmitted through the pointed top to the ionosphere, it can form an energy bridge connecting Earth to the universe. Edgar Cayce mentioned that the King's Chamber is a space for spiritual transmission. From a spiritual perspective, this energy is not ordinary. The pyramid may, through resonance, convert Earth's low-frequency three-dimensional vibrations into high-frequency vibrations of higher space-time, assisting the conscious connection between humans and the universe. And this type of capacitance may have transcended time and space, affecting the consciousness of the past, present, and future. In other words, it's highly likely that the pyramid is a tool that transcends space-time, connecting the three-dimensional world's consciousness field with higher space-times. The theory that the pyramid is an energy device also strangely coincides with research by modern science. Among them, the research that attracts the most attention is the electricity generator of the genius inventor Nikola Tesla. Much of his research focused on radio energy transmission, or wireless energy transmission, by harnessing the Earth's energy. Tesla once proposed a bold idea. The Earth itself is a giant conductor, capable of transmitting energy through resonance. In 1901, he built the Wardenclyffe Tower, attempting to use the Earth's natural frequency, or Schumann resonance, to achieve global wireless electricity transmission. Tesla believed that, through geometric structures and special materials, it's possible to extract free energy from the universe and convert it into usable electrical energy. This is precisely the principle of his electricity generator. This research by Tesla has astonishing similarities with the energy function of the pyramid. Tesla also once said, if you want to uncover the secrets of the universe, you must start from energy, frequency, and capacitance. Then, the pyramid, probably through this type of capacitance and frequency, interacts with the energy field of the Earth and the universe. Wardenclyffe Tower and the pyramid look different but are similar. The top of the Wardenclyffe Tower was a giant metal sphere used for radio broadcasting, while the pyramid's pointed top, originally covered with gold leaf or conductive dolomite stone, was probably also used for energy transit. Pyramid energy. Generating energy through underground water currents and seismic, and transmitting energy to the ionosphere through the pointed top. Very similar to Tesla's concept of wireless energy transit. In his later years, Tesla once said that part of his research inspiration came from observing ancient civilizations. He believed ancient people had mastered the secret of cosmic energy, and the pyramid could be the ultimate masterpiece of this technology. Generator research might be the modern explanation for the pyramid, connecting ancient wisdom with modern science. Some might ask, is it so difficult to know the truth? It as simple as just digging down to find out? But that. Do you remember the minister who's almost always mentioned when Egypt is brought up? This video clip that netizens edited, I'm sure everyone still remembers. Some say Minister Zahi Hawass is really like a mad dog, always staring at those trying to illegally excavate Egyptian artifacts, unless approved by him. Like in 1996, probably through the minister's approval. The minister led a film crew into the Osiris tomb beneath the Sphinx. Also the 1992 incident, where a robot discovered a bronze door handle in the pyramid. This time the minister seemed to mess up and was immediately kicked out of the scene. Then there was Dr. Shock's incident in 1996. After surveying the Sphinx, through water erosion marks, he calculated the Sphinx's age to be up to 9,000 years. At that time, the warring minister successfully suppressed Scott and was later reinstated. In short, any viewpoint differing from Orthodox research, the warring minister absolutely does not allow you to delve deep. He will fiercely refute you, labeling you as pseudoscientific as he did with Dr. Scott. These directions have been tested many times, but the authenticity of this result still requires time to verify. This discovery beneath the Khalfreed Pyramid, although very astonishing, might only be a small part of the iceberg. David Casey once mentioned that within this treasure trove of records, there are 32 stone tablets of the Atlantis civilization, recording the truth about human spirituality. Casey also prophesied that the discovery of this treasure trove of records would be accompanied by the awakening. In this year 2025, we're standing at the threshold of spiritual awakening. The relationship between the pyramid and cosmic energy, along with Tesla's modern interpretation of ancient wisdom, actually reminds us that human life is not simple and may have a profound connection with the universe. Some believe this discovery is not just an archaeological event, but resembles a spiritual revelation on a global scale, making us, in this chaotic world, once again face the core issues of humanity. That is, who we truly are, where we come from. But this underground structure might be the best evidence for the origin of human life. not merely the world before our eyes. Currently, the Calvary Project is seeking permission to continue deeper excavation, but due to the strict restrictions of the APAC government on archaeological excavations, the progress remains unclear. However, as Edgar Casey said, when humans are ready to face the truth, these secrets will eventually be revealed. And you, what do you think? Do you believe the discovery below is real, and in your opinion, what could it be? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below the video. Our sharing for today will pause here. If you find this video or the content on our Maruti channel truly helpful, please share it with a friend to explore together. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you again.
If the signal hooked you, subscribe and catch the next ripple.